1040.com podcast. Your taxes, smart and simple. Hey, welcome to the 1040.com podcast, episode 17. I'm Paul.
And I'm Sue.
I like that I do the just like waiting for it.
I know, there's really nothing for me to do during that intro. I'm just like...
Hey, so I'm going to make a quick joke. It's snowing where we're at right now, and depending on what day you celebrated spring, I am very confused by this. I celebrated yesterday, but apparently people are celebrating today, and something's gone on, and I'm out of the loop. I dressed for snow. Sue obviously dressed for the first day of spring. So yes, we realize that this is ridiculous right now, but we're going for it. We're here. And that's just what we're doing. So,
hey,
wore nice a jacket. Sweater. Yeah.
I just wore like my snow stuff, but I was having
I see, yeah, over there.
I
in the
brought
corner.
my snow stuff and then
I clearly didn't.
Yeah.
But
I'm comfortable. Okay.
Sometimes the day before we film, I say, "Hey, are you wearing anything crazy tomorrow?" Right? I check with the lady, and but normally we can make it happen. Not today.
Not today. There was no coordination.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Nothing much. We almost all went and got spray tans before you got here, just to pay you back for the last one.
I did spray tan for our basketball commercial. Mm-hmm. It was quite the experience. We should do like an extended cut just to talk about my
behind
experience.
The scenes.
Yeah, but not really. Hey, let's get off that topic. And it is almost, what is today? March 21st when we're filming this?
Yes.
It'll drop next week. And then we're getting really close to the end of tax season.
We are.
Which is crazy to think.
The time flies for us.
Yeah, it flies by. So, first, what does an extension do? Like, let's just start ground zero.
Mm-hmm. So, a tax extension will give you extra time to file your taxes. It'll give you 6 extra months to file your taxes, but...
How many months?
6. 6 extra months. But it's not an extension to pay your taxes.
Right.
So, a lot of people just say, okay, you know, it's getting close to tax time. I'll just file a tax extension.
I messed up. I didn't file it. I'm just going to do an extension.
Yeah.
Right.
But what people don't realize is that you still have to pay on April 17th this year.
Right.
But you don't have to file your taxes just yet.
So why? Like, why would somebody want to do that outside of I just didn't file in time? What are some good reasons to do
there are a couple of good reasons. A lot of people who are self-employed, they're waiting for their forms to come in. So that some people don't send their forms until later on in the year.
Right.
And when you're self-employed, you're having to gather from a bunch of different clients and everything. So it's time consuming. Yeah. There's a lot of different pieces of information coming in. Big life events, like stuff happens, you know, towards this time. So maybe you were planning to file in March, but, you know, you had a kid or, you know, something happened in the family. You know, things just come up and they go crazy. March Madness happens.
Yeah, that happens,
start watching,
you watch a lot of basketball.
You watch basketball and all of a sudden it's the tax deadline.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, oh, no.
So if I don't file my return, you're telling me I have to pay, but how do I know what I'm paying, if I get a refund, if I owe, like, kind of go into that?
Yeah, so what you would have to do is you would have to estimate on your own. So when you fill out your tax return, at the very end it'll be like, okay, this is how much was withheld from your paychecks over the year, or this is how much you paid in estimated tax payments. And then it'll say you either owe this much more, just to cap off the year, or you overpaid and so, you know, we'll give you some.
Right.
Now, if you don't file your tax return, then you have to estimate all of that yourself, which you can do if you've been paying estimated tax payments. You can pull up that information. You can compare it to last year. So if you look at last year's, how much your employer withheld from your paychecks or how much you paid in estimated taxes, and then see kind of where the end of the year left you, you can kind of look back and forth and compare those two things. Mm-hmm. You have to take into consideration, again, sort of big life events like, did you get married? Did you
when comparing,
have a kid?
You got to make sure it's
exactly, because you could be like, oh, I got a refund last year, so I've probably got a refund this year. Not necessarily true. So if you do,
you forgot about those kids you had.
Yeah, it's like, what? Where did they come from?
Yeah.
So if you do plan to file a tax extension, but you're not sure how much you need to pay, you will have to go and look over the course of the year You can do that with forms and records from the year. If you don't have current year forms, look at last year's return, like I said, kind of compare that. One thing to note is that if you end up owing less than $1,000 in taxes, there's a very good chance that you won't be penalized for not paying on time. And if it turns out that you owed a refund, then you won't be penalized for not filing by April 17th. You just won't get your refund until you file your taxes. So, it's one of those things where, you still have to pay, but in order to pay, you kind of have to figure out, what you did last year.
There's some work involved.
Yeah.
Like what I'm hearing is, if at all possible, file your taxes before April 17th.
Exactly.
That's what I'm hearing.
And another thing, another reason why it's a good idea, like especially if you have all your forms, or if you in any way can, it's just better for security, because the sooner you file your tax return, it locks it down with the IRS. Yep. So it's the simplest way to keep your information secure and make sure that somebody else isn't filing in your name. Because
we talked about that earlier, earlier in the season. Like when you file, that's it. But the longer you wait to file, there's more opportunity for somebody to do tax fraud.
Even if they already have your information, they can't do anything with it.
So if I end up owing, this is a basic question, where do I send the money to?
Right. So usually what you would do is you'd file your tax return at the end, you'd pay for the service, you'd send your taxes, whatever, you do your thing. But if you file an extension and you have to pay without filing your tax return, you can go to the IRS has a portal. It's just irs.gov/payments, and then you can do credit card, debit card.
Yeah,
they
make
have
that
a bunch
super
of different.
easy.
That part's gonna be just fine.
And is that where I file an extension as well? Like, where can I do that?
You can file an extension with 1040.com.
Cool.
In fact, if you log in right now. So since it's kind of getting close to April 17th, if you log in now, there will be a button that says, you can file your tax return, or if you want to, you can file a tax extension.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. You just put in some basic information. It's basically just an official thing saying, hey, I want to take the extra 6 months.
Is it one of those guilt buttons? Like, when you go to a website and it's like, hey, do you want a coupon? And it's like, no thanks, I don't want to save money today?
No.
Is it one of those buttons like,
no, it's not.
Yes, I procrastinated, I need to file an extension?
Sorry, no. Well, because it's not always procrastinating. Like, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is.
But we should just assume that it is.
Yeah. Just, it's fine. So if you do that through 1040.com, it's just $19.95 to file that tax extension, and then you'll be good to go. Remember, though, that the tax extension.
There we go.
There it is. It came out.
Yeah, nailed it.
A tax extension only lasts 6 months, so it's really easy to say, okay, I filed, I got that in by the deadline, and then just forget about it.
And then you're like in that same situation.
Exactly. So make sure that you're paying attention when October rolls around, because it falls mid-October every year.
If you're putting on a Halloween costume and realize you haven't filed your taxes, there's a problem. Don't do that.
Don't do it. Yeah, not a great idea.
You would be
not
so late by then. Yeah. Okay, so again, if at all possible, get these taxes filed before April 17th, and save yourself a lot of this trouble.
For sure.
But if needed, like you did cover, things happen, life events and other things, and it is wise to do an extension, or you just are kind of forced to do that. 1040.com, log in. You'll see the button there. When you need to pay, IRS has the portal. Did I cover that's the hot topics?
That's the hot topics.
Yeah, so
got it, Paul.
It's coming up. April 17th. It's coming quickly. As always, go back, check out some of our earlier podcasts, especially right when tax season started. We were kind of launching some content to help you get ready to file. The December blogs, December podcast, there's some really good information there on what you're going to need to file, how to gather those forms. That would still be relevant today. So go check that out. Keep checking out Sue's blog. It's awesome. Hey, there was some artwork on there for one of your blogs. I almost said episodes. And there was this piece of artwork that I really liked. So Sue does her own artwork for those blogs, and they're really cool. So if nothing else, I don't read them. I just go look at the pictures and then scroll on. So if nothing else, go look at her.
I'll accept that.
I'm kidding. Go look at the artwork. Tell your friends. Share these articles on Facebook. Share these articles on Instagram. put a puppy dog face and Snapchat us. I don't know.
That took a turn.
Have a good day, and we'll catch you next time.